Whitney here, and welcome back to an episode of Spastic Chatter. If you're new here, Spastic Chatter is a platform meant to feature those in the cerebral palsy community. And today I have with me Victoria, and she started a company, organization, whatever you want to call it, called WheelieYou, and I'm excited to hear more about it. But first, I'm gonna let Victoria introduce herself, and then we will get on to the conversation. So take it away, Victoria.
Thank you so much for having me, Whitney. I really appreciate it. Hey, everybody. My name's Victoria O'Brien. As Whitney mentioned, I'm originally from Long Island, New York, but I go to school in Arizona. I'm a graduate student. And I started a business with some of my best friends who have disabilities also, different than CP, but we all have different abilities. And the organization or business, I'm not exactly sure what it is right now. It's in progress. And the business is for people with disabilities to be able to know whether it's a restaurant or any type of place that they're going to in their community is truly accessible. My plan is to get as many people as possible in our disability community to come together and to show their individual community, whether it's a restaurant in New York City or a museum. Because growing up with a disability and going out with other disabled people, I've realized that even if I call ahead and make sure that places are accessible when they're really not, it creates like a hard time when we get there in person to figure out what to do. So I really want to try to avoid that and give people the ability to travel and explore their own community and be able to mention to other people, oh, this place is accessible or this place is accessible, and have a good time with their family and friends when they're there.
That sounds awesome. So how long? Where are you at in your process?
So we just started right before the end of 2023. So we're on an ongoing process. Right now, we're trying to get our social media up and running. And in the new year, we're planning on having more meetings with my co-founder, Yathlin Usita, and our social media lead, Rain Daniels. They both have muscular dystrophy. This is for anybody with disabilities, whether it's your family member or like a friend. Any abilities are welcome. You don't have to have CP or anything like that. Any genders. And also I wanted to create maybe down the line like mentors and having people be able to explain how they did things to others to like be able to cook and be independent in their own home, like from someone that experienced their same disability.
So you want to expand more than just like travel and restaurants, and hotels. You want it to be a representation of a disability in a whole aspect, like per se.
Exactly. Like, I want it to be more than just travel. I want it to be a community where people feel welcomed and they can ask their questions, whether it would be like travel related or whether like how you cooked like eggs or something like that, with like spastic CP or something. It could be any question. I want people to feel welcome and to be able to have that ability to ask anything. Because I know growing up, I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to travel on my own? Like, it was an ongoing process, and it's still an ongoing process at 26. So
That's awesome. So what made you want to take the leap and like start and like get the courage to start something?
Well, I've always been into advocacy. I learned I went to Henry Viscardi School in Alberton in New York, and it's a fully everyone's fully disabled there. We all have physical disabilities, and the really big thing was about advocacy, to have the ability to advocate for yourself. And I really worked on it all throughout high school to be able to do it in college. And it really took a turning point when 2 years ago my wheelchair got stolen off an airplane from American Airlines. A passenger, stole my wheelchair, and um, and the reason why I was on the news and everything from 2 years ago on like Fox News, CBS, News 12, NBC. It was an ongoing issue, and it's still an ongoing issue about like chairs being broken or chairs being stolen or something like that. And American Airlines wasn't taking accountability and were making me wait 30 days to have a brand new chair, which is crazy. But the main reason why I decided to speak out against this issue, and I got is because my best friend Yaslin, who is also the co-founder of WheelieYou, pushed me to be an advocate and pushed me to want to speak out against these issues, because she mentioned to me how growing up we've had friends who've had other issues like this that can't speak up for themselves, and how it needs to be talked about, and things like that.
I love how you turned like a negative like something negative that happened to you, like really negative, like your wheelchair getting stolen, which is like blows my mind. How the hell does that happen?
I know, and they never found them too.
You turned it into a positive, like by like creating an app that like provides resources and like support and all that for people with the disabilities, because there was a time in your life that you felt like you didn't have it, so you created your own platform. So
it's not an app yet. I really want it to be down the line, but right now,
oh yeah,
we're just focusing on like our Instagram, which is at WheelieYou, and we have a Facebook page with the same name. But like we're just on other platforms. We also have a TikTok.
I misspoke. I'm sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good.
I meant to say community, but it's gonna be an app in the future. I can just
yeah.
We're gonna go with that. Gonna speak it into existence.
I really wanted it to be it's different than the apps that you see that are already for disabilities. I really wanted it to be like a visual video representation. So I want people to be like, here's the restaurant, and here's like my experience, like wheeling into the restaurant, like here's what the bathrooms look like visually seeing what the bathrooms are accessible or not.
Oh yeah, I like that. Like it's a I want to say like a bird's eye view sort of.
Yes,
you can like see everything that's going on like first person.
It's definitely different than the apps that I have on my phone that are like Yelp reviews for people with disabilities, because half the time when I live in Tucson, Arizona. I go to University of Arizona. And half the time the restaurants near me don't have accessibility. Like when I use apps, they don't. They're not on there. So I don't know if they're accessible or not until I call them and they tell me if they're not. So I just want to be like a visual representation, or the organization to have a visual representation of like
that's
everywhere.
Cool. And I think that's much needed. So I have kind of a lighthearted question for you. Where is your most favorite place you've traveled to so far, like accessibility wise and everything? Like, do you have a favorite place?
So right now where I live in Arizona, Arizona is a state, is very flat, and I love that. I also love heat. I'm originally from New York, as I mentioned, so heat is not accessible here most of the time. It's cold and rainy right now. So, I love where I live in Arizona, but also some parts of California are very accessible, but not all of them. I went to LA for the Rolex experience. Also, that helped with advocacy and connecting with others in our community. Um, so it's some parts of LA are very accessible and some parts aren't. I'm still trying to figure out like my favorite place for accessibility. I always find like one part that's good about it and another part that like I need to fix, you know.
Yeah, totally. I can relate. So what is on there's like a two-part for to this question, like what is your bucket list place, like your number one place that you want to visit?
Um right now, like Paris or New Zealand or Sweden, like I was just looking up the most accessible places outside of the US because I've never been outside of the US. And like it said Sweden or New Zealand. So I would want to go see how they view accessibility.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I really want WheelieYou to be a global thing, and I want people from outside the US to be a part of the community, whether like not just US members. I want it to be a global thing. So like people outside of the US can see like, oh, this place is accessible. Like, maybe I should go visit there or something like that.
That's very cool, and I love
Yeah.
how like you're you're just at the ground level, and you're gonna take off, and that's and doing things like this interview and stuff, and getting your name out there. It's exactly how you do that. So
Thank you. I really hope so. Me and my team are really trying.
that's awesome. So at the Victoria, at the end of all of my interviews, I ask my guests if they have any advice for those watching or listening. So do you have any kind of like um life advice or general advice or any kind of like advice related to WheelieYou? Anything you want to leave viewers with?
Um, yeah, definitely. If you want to, if you want to do something and you're afraid to do it, that's the reason to do it. Like my inner head says, "What if I don't do it?" Like people usually think like, "What if?" as in like, what if like I'm scared kind of thing. I think of it as like, "What if I don't do it?" Like, will I be regretful of not doing this one thing? Or whether traveling the world or something like that.
That's
So definitely go out and do what you want to do.
Yep, I completely agree with you. So, where can people follow you, Victoria, and learn more about WheelieYou?
If you want to follow me personally, my Instagram handle is at VicRose Rose OB. So it's Vic Rose OB. And then my co-founder is Yaslin Ucida. And you could find her through my Instagram. Also, our organization handles are at WheelieYou on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Um, we have a Facebook page. There isn't much on the. We're trying to be more active on the Instagram right now, but we're trying to grow the Instagram and the social media handles in the new year.
Awesome. Well, I enjoyed talking to you, Victoria, and I'll put all of your social links in the description. And if you're watching this and you want to be on an episode of a Spastic Chatter, feel free to reach out wherever you're listening or viewing this, and check back frequently for other episodes. Thanks. Bye.